There's no one else I'd rather share this with. Nobody knows my imperfections quite as perfectly. You guessed it, it is you that I'm thinking of when we're apart. You're my searchlight when I'm in the dark. It is true. I'd give it all, I'd give my heart. You're my searchlight when I'm in the dark, when I'm in the dark.
Welcome back to the NACE Star League studio. We are in the throes of playoff season, and this week marks Open Premier's journey into the bracketed stage. We'll join them along with the Varsity Premier, which is down to the round of 8 to see who comes out on top and who's going to be one step closer to coming to the Boise State Esports Arena for the Grand Finals later this year. I'm Jacob Palmer. I'm joined by Lisa Malhaus calling all of the action for you. Lisa, no stranger to Rocket League, and you were looking at the bracket and who's competing today. What names are jumping out to you?
Right off the bat, we're looking at the open portion of the bracket, right? Top 32. And Fisher College is a team that always has to stand out, whether they're, delaying things or coming out on top in very quick 3-0 fashion. We'll have to see, though, because I like new names. That is something that always excites me within CRL. I've been part of it for so long, and there's been frequently.
And speaking of new names, we can see here the lineup. Pittsburg State. The underdog team by any stretch of the imagination, they're seeded 31 versus ranked second Fisher, but that's just the nature of how LCQs work. We're going to have Kevin, Repeat, and Sosa for Fisher.
And then on the side of Pitt State, sorry about that, looks like we got, as long as I can read this font, this typescript, Volt Vivid, North, and Not Low, and Frequently Jones there. So only 3 of those members going to show up on the field. I do hope Frequently Jones is towards the top, though, one of the higher-ranked players on that team.
And let's not waste any time getting into the action. We're going to see the Gorillas versus the Falcons, kicking off the open bracket of the postseason. Round of 32. Let's head down to the virtual field and see how things are turning out.
I like that logo, not gonna lie. It threw me off at first. I saw it from afar and I couldn't quite tell what it was. It looked like a nose, but I am a fan. The more I look at it, the more I appreciate it here.
The surefire way to win brownie points with me anytime is to have a unique mascot, Not another carnivore, something.
Yeah, that's a good point. I haven't really considered that as we are kicking things off right here. Sosa, Repeat, and Kevin are names that you're very familiar with if you've watched them play in the past, and right there is a good sign of why they've been seen for quite a while. Kevin gets a beautiful save right off the bat.
It's going to head back over to Gorillas territory. Pinch off the wall, setting up for Sosa up into the backboard. And Frequently Jones will defuse that situation, at least get it back toward mid. And 50 is going to go in favor of Pitt State, right onto an open goal.
All right. I don't want to say I'm incredibly surprised, but that was a beautiful pinch. Right on target. You saw Logan got the touch he was looking for. Nobody from Fisher College was in the defensive zone. They were playing way too confidently.
Well, we still got plenty of time left. 3 minutes left, only a 2-goal deficit. First kickoff slightly in favor of Pitt State. No follow-up from Fisher. This is a lot of ground that the Gorillas can gain. But now Kevin has possession of it. Will move up the wall. Sosa in the passing lane. Kevin goes for the air dribble, and it's taken away from him by Logan.
This is a common thing that Fisher will do. They like to pull out the big guns a little bit later in the series, so they will occasionally actually just hard push towards the offensive side of the field. Looks like, though, they're not letting anything quite slide because that first goal was clearly not intentional from Fisher. They were fighting for some sort of control on that ball. Now Repeat trying to find maybe a bounce off the floor, though. Logan finds yet another touch on it at a crucial moment. Ooh.
Kevin is going to whiff on that one. Logan looking to try to find the clear, but before he can even touch it, Kevin comes in and puts Fisher back up to a 3-goal lead.
There we go. No big surprise. Fisher comes out to play. That was a great shot. North, you could see he was trying to get a little bit of vehicle disruption there, but was just a little bit too slow. Boost control currently in favor of Fisher College.
Next kickoff in favor of Pitt State, but Repeat is right there, fresh off the boost. Will go for the dribble. It's a double touch, and it's going to drive it towards Sosa, and a 1-2. Another goal for Fisher.
You can tell Repeat was building that one up. He's like, I got it. Just stay in the wings, just in case. Yeah, you got to take it. You got to take this one, Sosa.
Yeah, quite literally a repeat of what we just saw. He's just going to repeat the goals.
Oh, I like it. Already getting punny out here.
Frequently Jones will get the touch on that. It's pinched off to the side. Over to Repeat with the pass to Sosa, setting it up for the follow-up, and precision perfect, piling it on with a hat trick.
And you know what? You're talking about repeats. There's a repeat on a repeat. As we watch from Repeat's perspective right here, playing it off the wall, Sosa to himself, and just not quite enough time for the Gorillas there to figure out positioning on the back post.
2 minutes left in this match. Kevin gets a touch on the kickoff. It's heading off to the side. Logan driving it up to midfield. Repeat is going to, flies right over Frequently, and another goal for the Falcons.
Frequently feeling rough already if you're a fan of the Gorillas here. Repeat. We're getting a lot of repeat. All right. Not that I mind seeing repeat whatsoever, but we know all these members of Fisher are capable of being aggressive. We still at least see some rotations coming out of them. So while they are this far ahead for Fisher College, they're not quite taking the opposition for granted.
Sosa will move all the way up the field, steal Pitt State's own 100 boost away from them. Doing a good job of boost starving the Gorillas, and Kevin now putting that boost to good use, setting it up, but there is no follow-up. Logan's going to have a chance to get past midfield. Repeat says no to that. Now the ball's up for grabs in midfield as we saw a demo back on the field onto Logan.
And look how aggressive Repeat is being, actually staying on the far side there by the goal with the recognition that, hey, Sosa, somebody's probably going to get a clear here. There unfortunately hasn't been much ball control in the hands of Pitt State. Repeat's there looking for something. Sosa gets barely a touch, but not quite in the direction he was looking for. Kevin should be able to stall this one out on the midfield line, and he's actually not even needed, able to go back to the defensive north with a nice save.
Sosa gets a shot on goal, saved by Logan. Pitt State now going to push a shot on an open goal, drives it to within 5. They're up to 3.
You know, you got to take advantage of those, right? You see those openings, you see chinks in the armor, you do something about it. Logan had the speed and the tenacity, and we at least see a couple more points being put up here, but it does feel as though 8-3 is a pretty rough scoreline here for Pitt State.
It's not only the rough scoreline. You take a look at the shots on goal. Pitt State only having 5 to my eye, whereas Fisher was well over 10. A bit of fighting in midfield. Repeat gets a nice redirect toward the goal. It's going to be set up in front, but a bit too high for Sosa to take the shot. Repeat will keep the play alive. North gets a touch with the pass to Logan. The redirect does not go through for Pitt State, allowing Fisher to get possession of the ball. Looking for the clear, a nice pop-up to Repeat. Shot up and to the right. Just a little bit off to the side. Not that Fisher necessarily needs it at this point, but they'll always take another goal if they can get one.
Great save there coming out of Logan, who it feels is kind of taking responsibility for a lot of these positions on the field. Fisher College there, they're going to get closer and closer to double digits as a 9th is locked in by Kevin. Oh, no.
That's always a tough one. You just got to dust yourself off after this. And I think that's just kind of the main thing that Pittsburgh has to keep in their mind. Just dust yourself off. Plenty of game left to play. Don't let things get to you right off the bat. Repeat with possession, just doing a little bit of keep away from Pitt State at this point. Last 10 seconds, more of a formality with a 9-3 scoreline. Fisher in dominating fashion, taking game 1 of this best of 7.
It's not a Brazil. You know, you count the little things. It all goes towards you. It's not a Brazil. At least you don't have to worry about that in chat. BRA71L is never good to see.
Nope, never good to see. Well, talking about numbers, one of the things I was noticing that really started off when we about jumped into the game, it was about a 3-1, 4-1 lead. So I immediately looked toward the shots on goal from Fisher, and I saw about 6. That meant, you know, more than a 50% completion rate on the shots on goal. I think that's something the Gorillas are going to have to clean up.
Absolutely, and if you looked actually at the save statistics there, you saw that Logan had almost all of those. So you need some other members of the team to step up, right? And when we're talking about kind of disparity between how well these two teams are doing, yes, the expectation is that Fisher is going to come out of this ahead. That doesn't mean there can't be improvements, though, from the side of Pitt State.
And we'll see if they can apply those improvements as we're heading back down to the field with game 2. Fisher leading by 1, but it's a best of 7, so a long way to go before things are all done and dusted. Heading back over to game number 2 with the lovely graphical flyover between the two logos, which always looks stunning.
This is so pretty. Honestly, the statistics that just showed up there on the side, I'm not gonna lie, it did take me a minute or two to be like, all right, what are I know these icons, what does this mean? And part of that is because we did jump in after the game had already started there, but nice to see the UI here. Everything is very pretty. I am very happy with, with the display and what we have to offer here. For
always got to give the shout outs to production when they go above and beyond.
So good.
All right, back down to a little bit of a change of scenery. Maybe that will be what the Gorillas need to be brought back into the action. I think I'm going to be looking at the first 2 minutes of everything, though, because that's about when we entered it last time, and Fisher had already built up a 3-4 goal lead. So I'm going to be mainly looking toward the pacing here. If the Gorillas can maybe put at least a minute on the board, maybe they can score a goal or at least keep Fisher at bay.
I will have to see. Again, like you said, it's a best-of-7 situation here, right? So there is still some time for some adaptability to be shown here in the gameplay. And round 1, I like to say, is kind of a scuff. As I say that, it's looking maybe not quite like a save there from Logan. It's actually a misplay from Sosa. Ball goes a little bit high. Good opportunity for Repeat to find another shot on goal. It's a little too far off to the left. And the defensive zone, once again, that Pitt State is having to deal with.
Oh, but they overextended themselves, and that is the crucial flaw for the Falcons.
Beautiful to start things off. You know, you wanna set back Fisher College and mess with them at the beginning of the game. Once they find their flow, once they get into the stride of things, it's hard to shut them off. But if you can stall that out as long as possible, things are looking good for Pitt State. It has, of course, only been about 30 seconds into this game number 2.
Kevin gets a touch. It's going to go lobbed up high toward Repeat. Back to the center of the field. Kevin and Sosa being a little bit more cautious in their positioning. Won't overextend themselves this time. Repeat passes to Sosa, places it up and to the left. North is going to clear it out to the side. Follow-up will head up toward the backboard. Pitt State looking to play off this clear they just got.
Not quite able to get it past the midfield. As I say that, though, they tell me to shut up. Jones finds the pass from from North, and it's beautifully done.
The Gorillas coming out on top, up to a 2-0 lead in just a few minutes. I was setting them up for, go a minute, keeping Fisher without getting a goal. They went a minute and got 2 goals of themselves.
And it was it would have been a double assist there if you could get that. It was Logan to North to frequently Jones. Wonderful passing. It got past all 3 members who were trying to position themselves defensively on the side of Fisher. But then this is where you wonder, okay, is Fisher now just going to activate themselves? Repeat finding a nice following touch on his own play. It does count as a shot on goal, but 3 members from the defensive side here for Pitt State. And it's going to be a bit more of a struggle for them to find another shot.
North has a nice shot back toward the goal. Repeat will stop it in its tracks. Now look to who he can pass to. He'll play it around 1, but runs right into frequently Jones in midfield. He'll use back pass, but it gets intercepted by Fisher, who almost gets a shot on goal from it. Sosa was almost his follow-up to get Fisher's first goal. Pitt State still clinging on to a 2-0 lead.
It looked like Sosa actually kind of backed off on that one because we saw the boost activated a little bit too late. He could have gotten the touch, he could have bounced it down, but it looked like it was going to be low enough to not hit the crossbar. Of course, that is another member on both teams. Seems to really be coming in clutch right now, though, for Pitt State in particular.
It looks good for Pitt State, but if there's one thing I've learned for Fisher, I do not take anything as final until that timer is directly at 0.
That's a good move. Fisher is one of those teams that, I've already mentioned, activating, kind of turning on, right? Recognizing, all right, we're doing this. And it is a mentality that Fisher has had over the last couple of years of being able to watch them. Sometimes they're not on, and it does feel as though they're the ones to decide when that is.
Frequently Jones now looking at where he wants to go. He has to run right into Kevin. Still manages to get it past him, but Sosa in the back corner. Now going to have possession as his ball plays around frequently. Jones plays around 2. Logan's last line of defense and cannot stop Kevin's shot.
All right. I'm starting to recognize a couple of the things here now, in particular Pittsburgh State is finding unfortunate about their team strategies, right? Their rotations are either too tight or too loose. And when I say that, I mean either they are too far back in the defensive zone so that when they find it clear, they're not able to follow it up, even on a slow play. But then when it does move forward, they disperse themselves almost too much and they don't have a real secure defensive line. So if that's something that Pittsburgh State can pull out here and use against Fisher, they're going to have a lot more opportunity to find these transitive sort of plays.
Well, frequently Jones will get demoed by Repeat, making this offensive drive that much harder for the Gorillas. They managed to keep it past the midfield mark, however, will still maintain a bit of side control. Sosa credited with the save that turns into a pass toward Repeat. And Repeat will get a demo onto frequently Jones again. Seems like things are getting a bit chippy down on the field.
Lots of demos coming out. It's a lot of little bomb icons that we got on the side. Sosa now finding a pass to himself. He's got a really good opportunity here. He's got the speed on his play. It goes over to Kevin and past 2 defenders for Pitt State, tying things up.
Almost looked like they would be able to get away with that one, but that's a bit of an unfortunate side effect of Logan's positioning. He hops directly up, isn't able to get any sort of forward momentum, so even if a save was gotten, it's still set up right in front of their own goal.
Now, we're at only about a minute and a half left on the clock. 90 seconds, not a lot of time to try to gain some security in this game, but we might be seeing our first overtime. Neither team can do that Repeat should be able to get there in time, has plenty of boost available in the tank to do it. That means Pitt State, though, are on the offensive.
They've already gotten one shot on goal. Kevin will try to get a clear, but it's a soft shot, allowing Pitt State to keep the pressure on. Repeat could have his breakaway play. A demo in the backfield onto Sosa, however. And keep Fisher at bay. Shot by North, high and off the backboard. Repeat will push it back over to midfield. And they're still trying to fight over to get into the lead. Almost a pinch into the goal, but doesn't find it.
It was so close. And oh my gosh. This ball just slow rolling, a massive whip as well. And another whip as we just watched Pitt State kind of throw themselves all over the place. That one is going to end up working as Logan finds himself a shot on goal. No real control, though, being held here by Pittsburgh State. Maybe it's going to be Fisher College. Repeat and Kevin, they end up finding it. Another beautiful teamwork play coming out of FC.
Yeah, as soon as you said they're throwing themselves at the ball, I was thinking, yeah, but if they're throwing everyone there, then who's back guarding the goal? And the answer is no one. Fisher now goes into lead 3-2 with half a minute left.
I will say with the, not complaint, but with the suggestion that I gave about Pitt State requiring to, make some adjustments here, I am feeling a lot more confident in the way that they're playing and their adaptability that is showing up towards the latter half of this match.
Sosa setting it up for Repeat. Another shot not on goal, but hey, Kevin's there. His shot is blocked by North. We have 15 seconds left. Pitt State looking to go to overtime, trying to get a shot on goal. The follow-up comes through from North. He gets it, and we're tied up. 10 seconds left.
No way. 10 seconds. The pressure is now on Fisher. College was feeling confident. They were slow playing it again. Sosa wasted so much boost there and didn't actually get the touch he was looking for. Repeat could re-engage on that one. And hey, game number 2 is looking really tight.
Still 10 seconds, however, and it's going to rely on Logan's sheet from the kickoff. He might set it up to where the Gorillas can score the game-winning goal, but doesn't look like it. If the ball hits the ground, we'll go into overtime. They're keeping it up in the air, however. Kevin with a pass over to Sosa to push it in the goal for a buzzer beater. Doesn't find it, and we're in OT.
That looked like it was so close. Fisher now kicking themselves that they didn't get the angle on that they were looking for, but they do get the first touch in this 50-50 at kickoff. Repeat trying to drop it down to Kevin. A little bit of disruption there out of frequently Jones. Logan now waiting for the ball. North is the one to be able to find the touch on it, but no follow-up as it's a bit of a backpedal here for Pitt State.
North has possession of the ball. Double commit by Fisher. Sosa still gets a shot on goal, and if it results in the game-winning goal, I assume there's not too many complaints from Fisher.
Nope, definitely can't complain about that, especially when you're looking at a sub-30-second overtime. Hey, no sweat off their brow, not a ton of extra time added to this. That is going to mean they find themselves at 2-0. It's not a best of 5, so they still have to take 2 more to win, but that's halfway to being victorious here and finding a sweep in the series.
And the total shots on goal, 60% in favor of Fisher, so Game 1, the trends from there continue on into Game 2. Fisher having the most offensive plays. I do think there is a little bit of a silver lining to an overtime lasting short because I think it's easier to reset. I see teams collapse a lot when you get into those 4-minute, 5-minute overtimes, and players will tell you everything about them is on point. They're shaking, they're sweating. And then to lose in that scenario and have to reset from that, that's always very tough.
I mean, that happens to me and I'm not even playing, right? I'm just casting the game. I'm watching the game. Let's see if they're able to shake that off here coming into game number 3.
Fisher, if they win this, will go on to match point and then move on to the round of 16 in the Open Premier bracket. And a long way to go for them in the postseason. Things are looking good for the Falcons, but the Gorillas, all things considered, the first game was 9-3. If you're able to make the second game only a 1-goal differential, that's a huge improvement.
Oh, yeah, and having that last goal to 10 seconds on the clock, that's got to be an ego boost on top of it. Hey, you push them to their wits' end, and you manage to at least take game 2 to an overtime. Like I said, the things I was kind of, faulting them for have seemed a little bit more cleaned up.
That's all you can ask for is you take the match in front of you, apply what you've learned, and just continue to move on. And you also kind of, one of my favorite quotes from a movie is, let them play their game, we worry about ours, And if Fisher just tries, showboating it or just dribbling and doing a bunch of fancy plays, just focus on what you can do in that moment to improve.
It's all Rocket League, but, 2 different perspectives, right? We got 3 different players And you know, I was talking about how I'm not really very familiar with the Pitt State teams. With the Pitt State players, I'm wildly impressed. Standing up to players like Sosa, Repeat, and Kevin this well, this vehemently is looking really good.
I like how as soon as you said standing up to players on Sosa, they demo Sosa, so quite literally.
Yeah.
Huge bomber back over toward Fisher's territory. It's set up right above the goal. Kevin will push it off to the side. Logan gets a nice shot on the goal. No follow-up from the Gorillas. Repeat will get the shot past midfield. Dangerous scenario for Pitt State. The North is able to recover, finds a save, and keeps the game tied.
Love those angles. I have to hold my breath because I'm not quite sure, since I'm just watching the observation, if anyone is going to be there to defend it. Sosa finds another aggressive play here. Two members frequently, Jones and North, are looking to find a defensive play, but it's Sosa who manages to sneak it past all three.
And once you kind of get all of Pitt State in their own defensive third is really where they start to falter. They can't get any sort of great clears, and the ball's just open for Fisher to play with at that point. And I think that just comes down to what we've been talking about, that player coordination and rotation going to be the main factor if Pitt State can get back into this.
Which is huge. I mean, when we're talking about Rocket League, those are some of the latter stages that you're looking at, right? Not basic mechanics. We're not looking at just raw communication. You're actually looking at cleaning all of those things up. And when it comes to rotations, if that's what you're focusing on, that's what all pro players are focusing on. North is going to find a nice little follow-up here. Logan trying to pick up some additional boost. Kevin is out, but still able to come successful on that challenge. Continue to push this one forward. Sosa past the midfield line. Repeat on the back end. Logan and North are there in time. It's a slow roll in front of the goalpost, but it will be cleared out as Logan carries it across in response.
He's going to get the door slammed right on him by Kevin, however. Gains back all the side control for the Falcons. North is going to leave it frequently, pushes it up to midfield. At least Kevin gets one touch on it. Frequently Jones keeps the play moving for Pitt State. Around the corner, Logan cannot stop Sosa, but North takes it away from him in midfield. Pitt State still hanging on in there, not letting this scoreline be too much of an avalanche in terms of Fisher.
Good patience there by Logan. You could tell he was kind of riding that midfield line, saying, I want to go forward, but I can't. All right, we already have two members. We need a fallback. We need some sort of defensive line. So good on the communication between the team here in Pitt State to ensure that they have some of that, because the last thing they want right now is another goal for Fisher to say, all right, that's kind of a nail in the coffin for us mentally in terms of this game. Fisher doesn't have the point. It's still about half left in regulation time.
Repeat gets the ball stolen away from him by Frequently, leaving it for North, but Sosa gets one tap on it to stop the Gorillas in their tracks. Everyone goes tumbling back toward Pitt State's goal, but when I say everyone, that might have left an opening for them to at least get a clear against Fisher. Now Fisher's rotated back into position. They're ready to stop this shot. Sosa will look over the field, pass it over to Kevin, and North will stop that from being a direct shot on goal.
There's some really, really good offensive opportunities here for Pitt State. The only problem right now that I'm seeing is the lack of speed, right? They're using a lot of their boost to try to reposition themselves, maybe get a defensive opportunity, maybe find themselves a clear, which they end up being on shot as this, comes through. The double flip does come through here, and Kevin who's going to be able to find the security here and give that nail in the coffin for Fisher.
And that's exactly the kind of goal that Fisher would like to pull off. Great air dribble into the flip reset. Perfect on the mechanics, and then set it up for your teammate to drive the final exclamation point into it.
Now Pitt State, I mean, hey, it's not over till the fat lady sings, is what they say. And Pitt State right now is only behind by 2. I've seen much crazier things happen than 2-goal recovery, even a 3-goal recovery here. And Pitt State is still looking primed and ready. They're finding a lot of these good defensive plays. Again, it's the offense that needs a little bit of stuffing here out of Pitt State. Logan stepping up for the team.
Sosa takes a shot up into the backboard. North will get the save. Off into the corner. Logan will ground it. Goes back up to midfield. North beats, or Logan beats Repeat to it and gets demoed. And his demo will not be in vain. Leads to a goal from North.
What an angle. I got to retake a look at this one because you had Sosa right there. He was able to kind of realign himself out, use that boost in just a hair's width underneath the ball. We love to see it. With 59 seconds left on the clock, it is only a 1-goal difference now between these two teams.
Frequently will get a bit of territory for Pitt State. Repeat, one touch toward Kevin, but Logan gets it before he does. Back over. This could be the equalizer. North takes the shot. It's blocked by his
Logan,
own teammate. Oh, can they recover from that? They got less than a minute to do so.
You even had the defender pre-jump on that, so it was such a good chance that that ball stayed on the ground, which is where it was. Logan would have been out of the way, and it would have been security here for Pitt State. Hopefully that doesn't break their mentals, though, because they still have about 23 seconds left on the clock, and they are looking good to find another aggressive play here. An attempted pass over to Frequently Jones, but some nice vehicle disruption there coming out of Kevin.
One touch from Sosa, though, could spell doom for Pitt State. They left their goal wide open. Kevin puts a shot on goal. Logan will save, but Pitt State is now going to have the comeback of the century. Gain back a whole bunch of territory, and I don't think they'll find it with this little time left. Fisher will get the third win and move on to match point.
Match point is not somewhere you want to be against Fisher College.
You know, you were talking about the fat lady earlier. She might not be singing, but she's warming up in the wings.
Yeah, those do-re-mis are coming out for sure. Fisher's looking ready, but I gotta say, I already said it earlier, I'm really impressed with Pitt State. These are some names that I'm not incredibly familiar with. You know, I was doing some research. They've got a little bit of history as players, but definitely on the younger side of things, which for a lot of these collegiate teams, they're starting to kind of age into it.
Yep.
When I started 2 years ago, I would say, oh, wow, it's a 17-year-old player. They're young, and I got laughed at. They're like, oh, this person's 14. But now we're seeing some of these seasoned players really come in, Fisher holding those, and Pitt looking like another prime and ready team to maybe make their way up the rankings.
Yeah, and when you're a new team going up a name as big as Fisher, from what we're seeing, they're improving their game, making sure all of these matches are close. And I gotta say, we could be seeing that wonderful gorilla face more and more in Nace Star League as we move on, and I'm all for it.
I certainly would not mind that. You know, it's funny because the more I look at it too, the more I see. I keep trying to make some sort of unlock or key pun because the nostrils look like little like one of those old-fashioned keyholes, the skeleton keys, you know. And maybe they have found something like that. I do think, again, something that I always talk about is not just the consistency, but adaptation. And for a team that's going up against Fisher, who in at least this series has shown little adaptation because they haven't really had to, Pittsburgh has shown the opposite. They have grown a lot, even in just the few minutes that we've seen them on broadcast.
First kickoff will go in favor of Fisher. They're already putting pressure onto the Gorillas. Frequently Jones gets possession of the ball, stopped by Repeat, and a pass over to Sosa. Repeat will take the shot on goal. It's just into the goal. I thought that was on the crossbar for sure.
Yeah, luckily it was a slow enough ball that Gravity was able to do its little bit of work there. And Repeat with a beautiful tip that actually slowed the velocity down. That was a fantastic play.
Brings out the old slow ball changeup that can throw anyone off. Now Kevin is going to overlook the ball off the ceiling, gets one touch. Logan will get a hit on it, try to push it back toward midfield, but still a ways to go for the Gorillas. Repeat gets one touch on it, but no one to pass to. So the ball is still pretty much up for grabs in midfield. Frequently will make a move, moves off of the ceiling, trying to leave it for North, who doesn't quite get the 50 he was looking for. That leaves it open to Fisher State to push another shot on goal. Can they do so? The follow-up is going to be grounded off to the side.
Good news for Pitt State because it's less than a minute into this game. You take it around the corner here. Logan getting popped up, flopping around, trying to find his wheels on the ground as he gets a continuation of the engage here by Sosa.
Only a minute has passed, but Fisher still has the lead, and a lead that could move them toward the next round. Kevin elevating up, passes back towards Sosa, trying to look for the clear, but demoed right in midfield, giving an opening to the Gorillas. Frequently Jones gets one touch on it. Repeat will take it away from him, and North gets one touch, leaving it in midfield for anyone to grab and try to get a shot on goal. North has an opening. It'll be tipped off by Sosa to the side.
It was a nice attempt, a good play at speed. Logan currently needing to regain some sort of momentum here, out of boost for a good portion of this one. Taking it past the midfield line, though, and North, hey, you know, we're talking about the Gorillas feel-good ink on this one because Pitt State has tied it up.
I would have it no other way for what is match point. The Gorillas have to bring out every single strategy that they can muster to be able to stay in this game. Reverse sweep sounds like a lot, but you just take it one game at a time, one goal at a time, and Pitt State keeping themselves in the match. And huge play right off the kickoff. Fisher trying to get themselves a goal. Sosa will demo Logan too, so a lot of pressure being applied to the Gorillas off the bat.
Wonderful challenge here by North. He's trying to make a name for himself right now. Frequently, Jones gets a little bit of recovery and ball control on this one. It is stalled out once again at the midfield line. Both teams trying to find some sort of control for themselves, and it remains a little bit longer on the Fisher side of offense.
Repeat doesn't able to pass anybody. That allows North, leave it for Logan. Frequently will stop it from going across mid. Logan has to go back for boost, but right now a lot of pressure onto the Falcons. North tips it up, leaving it for Frequently, isn't able to get the shot he wants. Both Logan and North go after the ball on a double commit. Pitt State barely holding on to their side control, and now Sosa finding a clear, putting even that at risk.
Another one of the things, too, that, more the pro style is when we're talking about a lot of these aerial plays, that's where Pitt State is kind of struggling. And it's not even just getting contact with the ball. They have managed to make that happen. It's being able to manipulate their vehicle so that it swipes at the ball, keeping the speed of the play up. So those are the things, again, hey, advanced players are looking at. The cohesion is absolutely there with this Pitt State team. And as we get down to the last 2 minutes of the game, Logan might have a good chance here. Repeat goes away with the halo somehow.
Frequently elevates up, is able to beat Kevin to the ball. Gets a bit of territory off that. Repeat, get one touch on it, but isn't able to clear it right there. And Sosa looked like it could take a bad pinch off of him, but he'll manage to clear it out. North gets 2 demos in response. Pitt State doing everything they can to stay in this. Minute and a half to go with both teams tied.
Sosa now out of boost. Repeat the only one on the side of Fisher College that has it. North tries to find the carryover, and Repeat is going to get a little bit of but my gosh, look at the vehicle play on this one.
Always nice, and for a team in a team that sometimes has struggled a little bit with coordination, to have Frequently right in the passing lane for them here, to be able to get the touch. Wow, as you were saying, the vehicle disruption comes through. A great goal for Pitt State, right when they needed it.
Right when they need it. I mean, a little bit closer to the end might feel a little bit better for them just because they have still over a minute on the clock. And when the pressure is put onto a team like Fisher College, that is sometimes when they decide to, do the activation I was talking about earlier, Jacob.
Turn the wind switch on, if you will, and it goes off the crossbar. 1 minute left.
Was that on purpose?
Oh!
Wait, hold on. I started laughing because I thought that this was a scuffed engage. Look at that. Frequently Jones, it looked like actually misplayed, but dodged around the ball and allowed for the follow-up there from Logan. That was an insane play.
A bit of redemption from last game when they got in the way of the ball. This was next level thinking on the other side of the field to make sure it went in.
Oh no, and right as we say that, it does like, no way, Sosa's gonna be able to hit another one. Billy Jones gets that, and the second one was turned away by the side crossbar there. Now it is in anyone's court. Only 40 seconds left on the clock, and if Fisher wants to take this actual series in a sweep, they're going to have to pull the brooms out now because they have to make 2 goals just to tie things up.
30 seconds left, and Pitt State managing to maintain side control. They're at midfield, though. That hit by Repeat could be what Fisher needs. They're going to gain a bit of territory, but Pitt State is fighting back fiercely. Plays over 2 of them. Open goal. Can they drive it in? At least at this point, keeping it in their side of the field and letting that timer run out is good enough.
Good enough, and you know what? They're not going to take good enough. They're not going to take it. They're going to take better than good enough. 1-4. All right, I'm used to Fisher kind of like holding a sandbag for the first couple of games, then being like, all right, let's really play. We wanted to stretch it out. I am not familiar with them going, 9-3, game number 1, and now that we're in game number 4, they're about to fall 1-4 to Pitt State.
Gotta hand it to the Gorillas. They are tenacious and have stuck in the game and will manage to take 1 goal away from Fisher.
All right. The defense on Pitt State is insane right now. Looking really prime, really clean, and just continuing to improve.
Now, I'm not going to claim for a moment that I'm a pro or even varsity player, but if I was in their shoes, you're coming into the playoffs, 31st seed going up against rank 2. The fact that you managed to stick it in there and take one game off of Fisher, I would already count that as a bit of a mini victory.
Absolutely, but with the way that they are improving, they could make it into more than that. They still have the potential to take the series. Every game from here on out is match point in Fisher's favor because they have already taken the first 3. But don't let that count Pittsburgh down and out for you, because with the way that they just played in that game number 4, I mean, it's anyone's series still.
I always love it when we have a good competitive playoff match. We got the Gorillas going up against the Falcons. Fisher's still at match point, but Pittsburgh State definitely looking like they have found new life on the field and will at least drive us to a Game 5.
Now they pulled out that gorilla vigor. When you actually think
Yes.
about it, a gorilla and a falcon, for half a second I was able to perceive that, and it's not a pretty fight.
No.
Not at all a pretty
If the
fight.
Falcon manages to get away, then the
Exactly,
Falcon walks
yeah, the
away. But
Falcon
once
has
that
to
gorilla
run.
grabs it, it's over.
You just picture kind of a Donkey Kong slam back and forth, right, left, right. Even the hand slapping the ground on that guy, because it's definitely not going to go in Fisher's favor as a mascot. But when we're talking about teams, Fisher is definitely used to finding victory, finding themselves on the upswing of some of these series. So I'm excited for Pitt State, as funny as that is to say.
It's really great to see a team that everyone considers to be the underdogs to be able to get a victory. I know in NACE Valorant we had Wichita State go up against Fisher and pull off an upset win. And what you were saying about the mascots and thinking, Wichita State is literally a shock of wheat. So I don't know how that would go if someone's mascot is an inanimate object. But hey, in that match, they proved that upset wins do happen, and maybe in this one we can see another upset win.
Now just out of curiosity, I know it's not about this game, but what does that mascot even look like?
It's like a big stalk of wheat that has
really?
a face.
That's as good as I could have hoped for it to be as we get into game number 5 here again. Still match point for Fisher College, but immediately this 50-50 comes in favor now of Pitt State. They get themselves a shot on goal here from Frequently Jones. Can it be transitioned here by Sosa, though? Yes is the answer for Fisher College.
We've been talking about that switch that Fisher has, that they could flip at any moment, and they are starting off Game 5 with a bang. Gets an early lead, but we'll see if the Gorillas can hang in there. Remember, the very first game was the one they came out the fastest, you could argue. 3-1 by the time we joined it. Maybe they're going to match that pace again.
Oh, it's because we weren't there. See, that's the thing. By the time we showed up, there were already several goals walked in for Fisher College. So we're casting curse for, the underdogs, which I will take every day.
The only way I can make up for my lack of talent is just to imagine I have some sort of aura affecting the players on the field.
Lack of talent? Get out of here. You're still here, Jacob. What are you talking about? I don't want to hear any of that. You deserve to be here.
I meant Rocket League, like playing the game.
No. If you can't do, so I always like to say, if you can't do teach, if you can't teach, cast.
Yep.
Just talk about it.
Well, Repeat is definitely one going to be talking about that goal. He gets another in similar fashion to how he did on Game 1. He had all of the Gorillas caught up right in front of the goal, 2 of them way late on the rotation, allowing Fisher to put up an early lead. 2-0 now, looking a lot more solid.
I'm trying to think of more Gorillas puns. The songs, but a lot of their songs are weird, I can't really talk about On Melancholy Hill usually in a broadcast.
I mean, it's where Pitt State might be,
True.
if they're not
point.
able to get a
Actually,
goal.
as I say it, that might be one of the best ones I could make. North is going to come out ahead, though, in this challenge here. All 3 members of Pitt State in their defensive zone just trying to find some sort of clear. It's a pass and a tip over by North, gets it around the corner. Frequently Jones trying to follow this one up, but not quite in time there. It's another demo, does come through, a bit of a reset. No way, the save was insane out of Repeat.
Fisher has got to be thanking that virtual referee. It was just 1 pixel too short and an open goal left by Pitt State. It's going to allow Fisher to just tighten the vice around Pitt State.
I could feel that one hurt because we also saw Logan, who perfectly dropped. I don't know if you noticed, Logan was in the way of the ball, was in the way of the shot, perfectly dropped out of the way, and it didn't matter because what he should have been looking at was not the ball, but the defender that was there in the defensive zone, and that was Repeat. That means the transition is going to work out for Fisher. A 3-0 lead is starting to feel, a lot harder and harder when we're talking about mountains to climb for Pitt State.
Kevin gets 1 touch on the ball, leave it for Repeat, and just chips it on in there for a 4-goal lead now. And you were talking about a mountain. I don't know how well Gorillas are known for their mountain climbing abilities, but there sure is one heck of one that they need to get over to be able to keep this match going.
You certainly can't reach the summit as quickly as a Falcon can, as long as there's enough oxygen up there. But Fisher College, with now less than 2 minutes into this game, number 5 is feeling really good. A 4-0 lead is something so far Pitt State hasn't been able to come ahead of, right? It's almost insurmountable. Now, again, I don't want to talk until the fat lady's begun singing, but once again, she took a pause on her warm-ups, and she has resumed those because it is feeling like Fisher College might be able to find themselves a win on the series. Well, it was not a sweep.
Repeat gets the flip reset, leaves it for Sosa. Save comes out by Logan. Frequently will not get the clear he was looking for. Sosa stops the ball in midfield. North is able to play it above him toward an open goal. Pitt State just barely is still hanging in there.
We take those. That is what Pitt is saying right now. We take those. No matter how much time is left on the clock, any of these little tearaway plays that you can push on a Fisher, especially when Fisher is feeling really confident, can actually gain you a lot of leverage in the game, and there's still more than half of regulation time on the clock.
Plenty of time to work with. Logan gets a nice shot off the kickoff, but it's stopped by Fisher. Shot taken back toward midfield. Logan gets blocked by Sosa. Ball's right above Pitt State's goal, but a miss on the follow-up. A whiff comes through by Fisher, and it's going to allow Pitt State to just walk away from that one. Very risky, but they're still in the hunt.
You know, it's a good series when my casting just diminishes at the end to oohs and ahs and ohs. Because that's all I can come up with in a situation like this. You're feeling so confident if you're Fisher College, but you cannot give up the game if you're Pitt State. And that 4th goal ahead, 5th goal on the board now for Fisher is definitely going to make Pitt State want to give up.
And this is definitely one that hurts. North had plenty of room to work with, but it's just Fisher has so much confidence moving around with the ball. They're able to fake him out, get their 5th goal. And now with just a little under 2 minutes left, Pitt State, I'd say they have barely enough time to work with to get 4 goals, but they'd have to play perfect from here on out.
They really would. I mean, I have seen crazier things than that. I've seen 6 goals in just under a minute, but that was a different time. That was definitely not something I anticipate ever seeing again. I still don't call the game down and out until it is officially, clock hits 0 and the ball is touching the ground. When we're looking at the stats that have been put up, though, we can see that Pitt State has been doing a really good job on aggression. They found a lot of demos, most of the saves going to Frequently Jones, Logan holding a few of those. But there have not been enough shots on goal. We compare that with the side here of Fisher College. Sosa sitting at a hat trick, Repeat looking for a hat trick himself. It's starting to be narrower and narrower, slimmer and slimmer for their opportunities to find some sort of aggression.
I mean, great job on the 5 saves Pitt State has, but it's 10-3 in terms of shot on goal. Make that 11-3 as Frequently Jones will get another save for Pitt State. We're now down under a minute, and 4 goals have to be made up for Pitt State. Sosa will leave the ball for Repeat in midfield. Bounces off the wall. Repeat takes another shot toward the goal and drives it in there. You know, you were talking about how at least the first game wasn't a Brazil. If the winning game is a Brazil, we might have jinxed ourselves here.
I sincerely hope not. Oh my gosh, there is a very good potential for that. Fisher just needs to make that 1 goal to lock this one in and prevent Pitt State from making another goal, right? It has to be the 7-1 for it to be considered a Brazil. But I was also talking about Repeat wanting to find himself a hat trick. And hey, look at that. You got 2 hats on the heads of Sosa and Repeat. That's 2 out of 3 for Fisher College. Kevin, where's yours?
Well, he's going to have to start looking for it. Right now, he's just trying to keep it away from the Gorillas so they don't get a clear. Pass it back to Repeat. Ball high up in the air. Sosa comes in to take the shot over Repeat, spikes it down, but there is no follow-up from third player. Oh, look at that tap back. Fisher definitely wants to end this on a Brazil. Can they actually do it is the question. Either way, we know for sure they're going to be moving on to the round of 16 in the Star League postseason.
All right, they're looking for it here. This is going to be their last opportunity. That ball touches the ground. No Brazil. Kevin says, I get hat hair. I didn't want a hat trick anyway. I'll give it to the other 2 players.
Congratulations to the Falcons. They will move on in the Open Premier bracket. And hey, I just got to give a shout out to the Gorillas, to Pitt State. Still gave us a great performance.
Absolutely. I mean, I can keep saying it. I'm wildly impressed. and not just based on the fact that they were sitting at match point and managed to be able to grab a win, but it was a pretty convincing win at that, and a lot of opportunity for them to grow as a team.
Before we get to the next match, we want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Truth, the nation's largest public health organization dedicated to a future where nicotine and tobacco addiction are a thing of the past. For more information on how vaping can affect your mental health, you can go to breathofstressair.com. All right, and just one more. We have the Army ROTC. Go beyond your field of study and get a world-class education in leadership with the Army ROTC today. Decide to lead today with the Army ROTC. And coincidentally enough, that's not the last sponsor I'm going to mention, because the next one brings us the top 5 plays of the game at the end of every match. It's Mavics Gaming Chairs. Mavics, feel the difference. But we'll take a short break. We'll be back with the Varsity Premier Round of 8. It's bound to get very competitive. For now, enjoy the Mavics top 5 plays. A long way to go before things are all done and dusted. Heading back over to game number 2 with the lovely graphical flyover between the two logos. Third is really where they start to falter. They can't get any sort of great clearance, and the ball's just open for Fisher to play with at that point. And I think that just comes down to what we've been talking about.
For a good portion of this one. Taking it past the midfield line, though, and North, hey, we're talking about the Gorillas feel-good ink on this one because Pitt State has tied it up.
I would have it no other way for what is match point. The Gorillas have to bring out every single strategy that they can muster to play off this clear they just got.
Not quite able to get it past the midfield. As I say that, though, they tell me
Oh!
Jones finds the pass from North, and it's beautifully done.
The Gorillas coming out on top, up to a 2-0 lead in just a few minutes. I was setting him up for, go a minute. Not be in vain leads to a goal from North.
What an angle. I got to retake a look at this one because you had Sosa right there. He was able to kind of realign himself out, use that boost in just a hair's width underneath the ball. We love to see it. With 59 seconds left on the clock, it is only a 1-goal difference now between these two teams.
Off to the side, over to repeat with the pass to Sosa, setting it up for the follow-up, and precision perfect, piling it on with a hat trick.
And you know what? You're talking about repeats. There's a repeat on a repeat. As we watch from Repeat's perspective right here, playing it off the wall, Sosa to himself, and just not quite enough time for the Gorillas there.
Making sure my mic pack's on, make sure yours is on too. Welcome back to the NACE Star League studio. We currently have a player with Fisher who just won from us. So we're just going to take a little bit of a load off down here. Thank you for winning. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, this is cool. Okay. This is my first experience of an interview here in this stage.
Yeah,
Definitely
it's
not
pretty
used to
sweet.
that.
Well, I'll start it off with this. We're looking later on in the bracket. You had a match that was, against a lower seeded team, but now as you move on in the bracket, we'll start to see, the rubber really hit the road. So when you start going up against the Maryvilles, the St. Clairs of the world, what's going to be your strategy then?
I think we're just gonna lock in, really. We just take it one series at a time. So right now we're basically, I think it's the winner of University of Georgia and University of British Columbia who we're focusing on for NACE, and we're just gonna prepare for that match. And whoever we end up playing throughout the bracket, we're gonna prepare just as much for them as we do for any other team, and just do our best to win the series.
Love it. That's actually kind of going in line with like the question that I have here. Of you guys have always been a standout team, right? And I mean, you do falter. We saw you guys lose the game number 3 there. What is kind of the mentality behind when you guys fall behind? How do you recoup yourselves, and how does your confidence working right now as a team?
I don't know. I hate to put excuses on things, but that fourth game was definitely on me. I just didn't ice up. I was getting demoed a lot, and then my controller was having some issues, so I basically wasn't on the field. So I'm just gonna apologize to my teammates for that one. But game 5, we just came back in, made sure we won it, and then now we move on the next round.
All right. Well, as we know, we're about to have a winter break coming up. We'll get you out on this note. You still have a whole other semester of competition for right now. So how are your thoughts going into the spring season? Depending on how well you do in the playoffs this season, what are going to be your main goals for spring?
I think our goal is always to win it. I think, last season we faltered a little bit. It was an unfortunate series of events, but, this season we're definitely in it to win it, and next season in the spring we're looking to win it just as much. So, like I said, always just locking in and doing our best every single series.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We wish you the best of luck moving forward in the tournament.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
All right. Like I said, we have Varsity Premier coming up next, and the teams are very close in their seeding. It is going to be very competitive for the next few games, so don't go away. We'll be back in a minute or two with game number 2 very shortly.
Nice.
on the floor. Don't stop moving 'cause I like the way you use me just right. Never backing down, never knowing when to stop. I won't turn my back on you, 'cause your love's the only one I know. And just one more chance is all I need. I'll lift you up and set you free.
Welcome back to the NACE Star League studio. We're well underway in our Rocket League matches. We just finished up our first match, Pitt State versus Fisher. Fisher took the win, so now we'll exit the open division, go on to Varsity Premier for our next match. I'm your host, Jacob Jem Palmer, joined by Lisa Jolly Malhouse, calling all of the action for you here today. And Jolly, as we go into the Premier League, I think this is going to be certainly in your wheelhouse. We have a lot of players, a lot of teams from the CRL also competing in NACE Varsity Premier. It's the big leagues.
It is the big leagues. Yeah, we're looking at, the top 8 here, and well, we might have some updates on that as well as the day progresses. But these next 2 series are ones as somebody who has been ingrained in the CRL community for a while, I'm really excited about, because we're talking about a lot of really top teams, and not as though it's towards, the bottom of the seeding, the bottom of the bracket. It might be in these top 8, but incredible teams who absolutely have the opportunity to show kind of a resurgence and maybe shut down some of the big dogs.
Speaking of those teams, we also have the bracket and how it's been progressing for the postseason match. We are down to the top 8 teams in the NACE Star League bracket. They are West Virginia, Oklahoma Christian, Boise State, Maryville, Kennesaw State, Akron, Ole Miss, and Nichols College. And basically, all the top 8 seeded teams made it to top 8, so no upsets thus far in the bracket. We're going to be going down to the lower right for Akron versus Kennesaw State first. Then we'll move on to Ole Miss versus Nichols College.
Some good teams coming out there. We can see Kennesaw State came out against St. Clair, their king against Akron, as the numbers aren't as high as you might think for these guys, but Akron is definitely a team, the Zips, that we are very familiar with, as well as Kennesaw, Flitz, TNT, and Parr. And Akron, just so many names that we have become so familiar with, in particular Tristan as a standout player.
Let's take a look at how we got here and what we have next, because we started off with that open division game against Fisher and Pitt State. Now we'll move on to the 2 varsity premiers, Akron versus Kennesaw State, and then Ole Miss versus Nichols College. I'm really looking forward to that one.
That's the one as soon as I looked at the schedule, I'm like, oh, that's going to be a good one. Both of those teams really on par with each other, really good performers. That one I can imagine we might be seeing closer to a full 7-game series. And then, of course, if you've ever seen Rocket League, if you've ever seen Collegiate and Rocket League, you know Northwood. You're familiar with Northwood, maybe less so with WPI. So we'll have to see how that team stands up to the big dogs, if not one of the best here in Collegiate Rocket League.
You were already mentioning some of the players, but to give them their full due respect, here are the lineups. We've got Patty, Bullseye, and Tristan for Akron.
And Kennesaw State, we've got Parr, TNT, and Flitz. I was doing a little bit of research, like I was saying, about some of these teams, some of these players, more for the side of Kennesaw State that I'm less familiar with. And they do have their histories, right? They're not brand new to the game. They do have some winnings under their belts. They have been on some semi-pro teams here in the past. So I'm really looking for Parr and Flitz to be the standout players. Flitz, I believe, was on Gameman Gladiators. So that was a team that actually did quite well in more of the semi-pro scene. We'll just have to see how it actually plays out, though, on the pitch.
And another interesting thing about these teams' background, both of them had perfect regular seasons, naturally qualified for the finals, avoiding LCQ, so neither of these teams has tasted defeat. That is going to change right here, right now. Who will keep their spotless record, and who will go home with that all-crucial one in their L column?
Love to see it. Natty wins. But like you said there, Jacob, one of these teams has to go home with their heads hung low. Neither of them wants to be the one to do it, and there's still a lot on the line as this is the start of top 8, the varsity side of this premiere. Let's kick it off, though. Game 1 in this best of 7, Akron against Kennesaw State.
TNT will try to get a bit of territory, but it's blocked by Patty. But a huge breakout for the Owls. A shot on goal is blocked, but Flitz comes in with the follow-up, putting the Owls to an early lead.
I'd almost, I love that reinforcement where I'm like, all right, I'm looking for this player is pretty good, and then that player instantly gets a goal. I feel so validated.
So it's always nice. I'm going to feel validated in the Ole Miss game because when we did our bracket reveal stream, I predicted Ole Miss to go all the way. So the rest of my bracket is already messed up enough as it is. I just want the one thing I called out to work out all right.
Oh,
here we
gosh.
go. Nice shot on goal, pushing it to the crossbar. Follow up by Flitz yet again. Almost gets the double touch. Parson, the third man in there, and the all-crucial goal getter.
Those plays are always so rough. There's so much riding on them because you have these slow plays, right? You don't have the ability really to use a bunch of boosts. You can't reposition yourself easily. You just have to hope that gravity favor. And the favor is definitely in Kennesaw State as we're less than 30 seconds in this one and they are finding themselves 2 up.
Early demo brought onto the Owls by Akron. Parson push a flick back over toward the Zips territory. And they clear. Flitz misses on that shot. That allows a touch from Patty. Bullseye will elevate up, play it off the wall. Is there a follow-up coming through? Not quite yet, and they got to rotate back toward the goal. TNT pushes the ball up into the backboard. Quick follow-up by Parson puts the Owls to 3.
All right, you know what? As somebody who's very familiar with Akron, this is a little bit unprecedented. They are kind of feeling scattered. I don't really feel the cohesion that I normally do from this team. Not only that, but I am seeing a lot more cohesion on the side of Kennesaw State. 3-0 right now, and it's still 4:09 on the clock, Jacob.
It wasn't just you, it was also the NACE TOs that, put, as soon as I kept saying, just to drive the point home, the TOs put Akron seeded 3rd overall in the nation, whereas Kennesaw State is seeded 6th. But looking at this match right now, the Owls are just raining it.
It feels over. It's been less than 60 seconds, and it feels over. Numbers that are also put up by Tristan, the only thing he has on the demos. Bullseye has and Patty hasn't even any of a ending clears, shot, thing like that. Where every single member has, sure, TNT numbers up there, but we're looking for every single member. I like this.
Bullseye elevates up to try to stop the clear. He doesn't even get a touch on it, though. It's going to be Tristan who sends it back. Patty with the follow-up. Demo into the goal. That's what I like to see to put them back in the match.
Back in the match, still down by 3, but certainly finding a bit more of the standard rhythm that they are used to. Tristan with that huge demo as well to make sure that as few defenders could be in the goal box as possible from Kennesaw State. All right, Akron, they're finding their stride, okay? They're not down and out. It was just the first minute. They were feeling a little rough around the edges.
That's kind of the thing that I always like about best of sevens. Plenty of time, even if you get off to a shaky start, to recover. And can the Zips recover even more? They're looking for their second goal. Flitz gets a touch way back over toward Zips territory, Try and push it back toward midfield. TNT keeping the ball away from Akron, and the pressure on. Tries to put a shot on goal, fakes out one, but as he's doing his little dance, Bullseye comes in, demos him, puts a stop to everything.
So many demos already coming out here. None for the side of Kennesaw State. He's got 4. I mean, Tristan has got himself a hat trick of demos right now. A little bomb on his head. So you got to watch out for him. And that is definitely something that Akron has always used in the past to try to get a little bit more momentum in their favor. Right here is going to be another shot. Patty manages to find the following slow touch into the goal.
Slowly but surely, the Zips are making back their goal deficit. They're now just to within 2. And it felt like, it was just a minute in the game. We said it was over. But with 6 goals on the board, we're not even halfway there. So Akron still has plenty of time to work with for a comeback.
The same can be said about Kennesaw State and trying to hold on to this lead. A 2-goal lead is solid, but they were just sitting at a 4-goal lead less than a minute ago. So you can see how quickly the tides can turn. Tristan with a nice carry up and over, gonna find a bit of a reset there on the flip. Parson gets a good chunk of this challenge, able to take it around the corner, past the midfield line, but he's in between a rock and a hard place, and those rocks and hard places are Parson's splits. That means they're going to take away a bit of the control there. Patty with a pass back, TNT to challenge that one up. And so much vehicle disruption this game.
Flitz currently has a dribble, double touch, and just right into the goal. Smooth like butter.
That was just, I got to take another look at this one. I have to see what kind of went wrong here on the defense. You had Tristan did kind of throw him off. I think that might have been it. Tristan had to sort of navigate Varsity, who was, flying in just as quickly as that ball. Good teamwork, good recognition, and that's going to put them up 3 with just a ball.
Game will credit them with another shot on goal right off the kickoff. Bullseye gets the save. Tristan currently looking over the field, has to go up against Flitz, who's taken the boost away from him. So Kennesaw State going to try to defend from this push against the Zips. Tristan trying to keep the offense alive. Demo in the goal by Bullseye. There isn't a shot on goal currently. Double commit by Kennesaw State to try to find this clear. Akron keeping the pressure on, but Tristan can't elevate up enough to be able to follow up. And now this is possible opening for the Owls.
Patty finds a save. Park for retaliation here. Doesn't quite get the. I get some control on this TNT. At least stalls that one out. Doesn't touch. It's a bit of a pass. Blitz. Parson regains. Bounces it over one, but no. We are getting at least a shot on. Does find that shot, but it's through. It's the crossbar in TNT.
1 minute left, and Kennesaw State sitting at a comfortable 3-goal lead. Patty trying to narrow that down with a dribble, but it's deflected off to the side by the Owls. Zip's going to try once more to try to find a goal. Bullseye has a beautiful shot all lined up for him and gets it.
And it was a demo as well coming out. None other than Tristan, the demo of the day as we watch from his splits out of this one. Would have been much retaliation since they were so far back. If you could put another bomb on Tristan, you're going to do it. He's got 5. Bullseye has 4 right. Those are insane numbers.
At this point, just get a demo to roll over the scoreboard at this point. Fill it all the way up. Meanwhile, TNT placed the shot on goal. Bullseye will be credited with the save. Now a pass back toward midfield. Tristan comes in, pushes it back. It's going to bounce off the backboard for Patty to push it in for a hat trick. And Akron's in with just striking distance.
I just not falling. That's definitely. That's a nice little indicator. The hat trick there. I was waiting. We've seen a lot of hat but on board. Patty is going to be another. So.
Well, the question is, we've got just barely enough time. I think Akron could make the goal. Trying to set up for Christian. It's pushed back off to the side by the Owls. Parson gets a pop on that one. Tristan will send it back off the backboard. Flitz keeping it away from the Zips at this point. Just one huge clear would probably be enough for them right now, but the Zips have one more chance. It's Patty. Blizzard actually pushes it off to the side. Patty had a shot lined up, and Patty is just left chasing after Akron, kind of at the last minute there. I thought for sure Patty would have taken the shot there.
You know what? They've got more games coming up. It is a best of 7, but 9 goals for game number 1 is this is where the fun begins, right?
Yeah, it does.
The fact that we're looking at the top 8 here, the varsity, varsity squad. So we're really looking at high levels of gameplay, and this just goes to show you in game number 1 how close it can be. We didn't even get to see the overtime.
Because when you get teams this excited, it really turns into it goes from as my colleague Nerdy would say, it goes from a best of 7 to an it's complicated best of 5 to an it's very complicated best of 3. That's just how these things generally turn out when you got this many games to play.
Though, because now it's up to Akron to have a little of that play going. Otherwise, going to be looking at a pretty solid series themselves. You know, how quickly they were able to come out running. The question is, though, did Akron really need the of that game to genuinely warm up and where they've hit their stride, or is Kennesaw able to kind of on early each game?
We're going to head back on down to the field and see if general patterns that revealed themselves in game 1, an explosive start for the Owls, happens the same in game 2. But I would think, I can't tell you how many times when we've seen openings like that and then for the rest of the game it's neck and neck. So I think the Zips might have just needed a few seconds to get all warmed up because they've got a lot of side control right off the kickoff and a shot on goal that's saved by TNT.
Still, coming out of all 3 members really looking ability to get the first point on the backing up a little bit. Some right that you need a defender. Yes, it goes over to your side of the field. So though for a moment or two, a pinch off, TNT is there for a bit of recovery. over to Parson, and an opportunity saw State to find a shot on goal.
Moving farther on in the proceedings, Kennesaw State finding themselves pressured up a good bit. Akron trying to be able to score a goal. A demo's going to be pushed on toward Tristan. Flitz will stop that shot, pass it over to Parson. Nice redirect toward the goal. TNT gets in on it, but isn't able to deliver the final blow toward Akron. Game's still very competitive, though. We've got a whole minute without goals. As soon as I say that, a goal almost scored by Kennesaw State, but it is saved, and Akron's still staying in the game.
Staying in the game, it's a shot from very far away. Blitz says, I'll help out the crossbar and push this one a little bit farther along. It does get stalled up here in the corner, though. Bullseye with a redirect. TNT has something to say. A nice little switch there in the air, and it's an attempted pass over to Bullseye. He's not quite in position for the shot. That means some more control in the hands of Kennesaw State and some more demos available here for Akron.
Demo plays. Well,
oh my gosh.
These aren't demos for Akron. They're against them by Kennesaw State, who's now fighting back.
Oh.
They push a shot on toward goal, but it is pretty slow. Tristan able to save. Parson tries to take a huge shot. He gets played around, and Flitz gets it for the Owls.
What an assist there. All right, I got to see this one again. This is where I wish I had a slow motion button. Parson with a beautiful, it looked like it was an attempted responding clear. No, it was actually just dropping it back so that Flitz could follow up their initiation, and Kennesaw State is going to be the first team to put on a goal. That's the second time in a row now.
Parson demos Tristan right off the bat in the proceedings. Ball pinched way over to the other side of the field. TNT gets a slight touch on it, but is left for Patty and Tristan to fight back onto an open goal. And they'll certainly take that one.
Yeah, they'll take that one all day, every day. And hey, you know, while it's something that is used against Akron very often, that means that they are cognizant of when it is available for them. That's definitely not something that Kennesaw State can allow happen again.
Ball goes over toward Kennesaw State's side. Akron putting a small bit of pressure right off the kickoff. They're full on boost too, except for Tristan. He's going to fill up. Right now, I thought there would be a little bit more forward play, and there is a shot off into the corner, but Akron's still trying to line things up. Could be right here. Flitz gets the save, and will keep the game tied.
Those are the fun shots, right? Where you've got two offenders coming up, and then one defender just slips right in between, says, nope, not on my watch. That's the bullseye now. He's trying to be that defender. Parson trying to hold off the touch there as it looked like it was going straight for the goal, but just a little too slow. It bounced in front and hit the side, and it's Parson who is credited with that, but I'm almost certain it was not Parson that knocked it in.
This is the moment. You see four people in one corner. This is the moment where you get out your tape recorder, you press play, because everyone was scrambling for that. And the Owls still maintaining a narrow lead. 2 minutes left in this match.
They're looking good, all right. I think, you know, when we're looking at the stats for both of these teams, all right, the expectation is that Akron's going to take it. And as I say that, they tie things up and say, hey, the game's not out of our hands yet.
And this is the second goal. Both goals have been scored on them by just completely goals being left open. Set a bit of an inverse from what they usually deal with, but they've tied it up in both scenarios. Like I said, a little bit over 2 minutes left. Bullseye gets a pretty good kickoff. Parson fighting back, fresh with boost. Drive it all the way over back toward Akron territory. TNT placed the shot bit too high. Going to allow Tristan to get a huge clear.
I like how you can see with that last goal that happened right off the kickoff, the reason behind it was because you had to pull back to the corners to pick up the hundreds right to the defenders. That's why Parson was there, but just a little bit too late. You instantly see, I mean, no boost being held. Okay, now Kennesaw State is just focusing way too much on trying to get that boost control. They're all completely out, or they're all completely full in the wrong spot.
Oh man, it would certainly be, I'd say with the way all three of the goals have been scored, that it's probably their game to lose territory here because it's been a self-inflicted wound every single time from the Owls.
Well, they managed to grab some boost and keep themselves ahead of the curve here. As I say that, though, it's a nice little flip up and over towards the goal. Parson and TNT are there. There is yet another demo, this one to the Akron Zips by Parson. Flitz with a beautiful drop down and vehicle disruption, and yet another demo on the backside that leads to that goal.
We've just got just over a minute left. I saw 1 minute 17 seconds left on the clock. Open goals have been scored left and right on both team sides now. 1 minute 18 seconds to decide it all.
Flitz also wants a hat trick. He got Patty, who has secured all 3 goals so far for Akron. As I say that, he finds the carry up and over, gets the touchdown. Not quite low enough, though. It is going to hit the crossbar and a defender there. Bullseye in the corner, finds the 100. Refills on boost to pass off the ceiling over to Patty. Flitz taking this one up and over the goal. Can he get the bounce off of the ceiling? He does get a bit of a reset there and manages to strike in his direction. Parson has to defend, though, and you can't defend against that second touch from Patty,
who just keeps on the win streak, has all of the goals to their name. It's their own follow-up even. It's just been all Patty all the time.
You're okay with that. You know what, Bullseye and Tristan, they get enough of a name for themselves as well. These are all names that have been in the scene for quite a while in Collegiate Rocket League for a pretty long time, and are well known for being very cohesive players and also being standout individuals. You can really see that here as Patty has secured. Look at all those shots on goal. Look at all those look at all those secures, and then look at all those hats.
Flitz has kind of been the foil to Patty, really, as the main goal scorers for this game. And now we're just down to 40 seconds, tied at 4-4 apiece. It sounds like there's a bit of a theme going on. And Flitz, with a nice cheat, is going to get a little bit of room. He moves up to try to redirect. Patty is going to be able to stop the shot from going forward. TNT on the follow-up, plays it off the wall, tries to get the second touch. Parson blocked by Patty.
That was close. Almost had the follow-up. Flitz going to navigate this one away from Bullseye. He's not able to find a Bullseye on this one. Tristan bounces it once, twice off the wall. It's over to Patty, but Flitz drops down, and you're exactly right, Jacob. Flitz and Patty is now just a 1v1 competition going on here. Who can rack up the most scores, the most points? Might be able to break this tie and push things out of overtime, but no, if the ball just touches the ground here, we're going to see our second OT of the day, our first overtime in this series.
All right. First kickoff goes in favor of Kennesaw State, but Tristan, fresh off the 100 boost, will fight back. Ball heads back over to midfield. Patty placed the shot on the goal. It's just a little bit wide, however. It's going to go into the corner instead. Flitz dribbling up the field, goes right into Bullseye. A lot of bumping right now in between the players as Kennesaw State looking for their winning goal.
It almost feels like we can just calculate demos, and that is kind of akin to where a lot of these goals are going. Now, Parson with Flitz trying to find something here. TNT pulls it back because Tristan is on the aggressive. Parson comes out ahead in that challenge, though, taking it past the midfield line. 2 defenders on the side of Akron, ready to reestablish this ball as their own offensive play. A bit of a flip from Patty, but gets taken out there as Flitz tries to set this one up and break this overtime.
It's been literally Patty and Flitz trading shots on goals back and forth. But who's going to be the ultimate victor? Patty tries to take a shot. It is blocked by Kennesaw State. We're now a minute into overtime. Now it's Flitz's turn. He'll take a shot on goal. It's blocked by Tristan.
You know, I was going to say, Patty and Flitz need to get some other, or Patty really particularly needs to get some other statistics up there on the board because he was just sitting at shots and goals the whole time. Whereas on the side of Kennesaw, you have Flitz there with a couple numbers for everything, but he has secured himself a couple of demos. Patty has gotten himself one of those halos as well, recognizing, hey, I can play all the bases if need be. You've got to move back to the defensive now if you're looking at this aggressive play coming out of Kennesaw State. Tristan redirects it. Ooh, that one kind of worked out.
Ball way over to the other side of the field. Patty will make sure to pick up the 100 boost. And Bullseye takes a shot toward the goal. TNT with a save as we are barreling down on the 2-minute mark for overtime. And there's only one left in the goal for Akron. But the ball is deflected off to the side. So Kennesaw State going to have to search a little bit longer for their winning goal.
It's just a game of ping pong now, like badminton going on here. The shots keep going high. Not quite on target there. And even if it is, you have Flitz, you have TNT, you have Parson that have been hovering really well at the top of that goal. And as I say it, Bullseye redirects that one before it even gets the chance to be a full shot. Patty, with all those statistics on his name, finds a demo, maybe an opportunity here for Akron to get their aggro play, but they have to take it away from their side of the field to be able to do so. And Flitz makes sure that's not the case. Double touch comes out. Tristan wins the challenge.
Tristan has a whole bunch of territory to make up. TNT has to block him here. Is going to be able to. Going up against Patty, though. Patty, oh, that all was shot on goal, but Flitz is right there. Who else to save the ball? And now he's going to take his own rally back up against Akron.
Tristan coming back, using a lot of boost to try to get some momentum on this thing. He does expend all of it, but there's some follow-up coming out of Patty. Tristan ready for the receiving end of that pass. There's a demo. It's again by Tristan, and there is now Tristan getting demoed out by none other than Flitz, who gets a shot on the bullseye, turns it away.
It was dead center in the middle of the goal. Now we're 3 minutes into overtime. Flitz keeps the ball alive. Pass Patty, and he gets it. Flitz will win the duel and get the victory for the Owls, Kennesaw State.
2-0 now for Kennesaw State, and that's definitely saying something given how well we know these players with Akron Zips. And now is their opportunity to turn things on and get the series going in their direction, because after one more game, you're looking down at match point, and that is not a barrel that Akron is very familiar with.
And there were probably a lot more players involved in the play, but just from our camera angle, the two people chasing the ball toward the goal was Patty and Flitz. What a perfect thematic ending to that overtime.
Yeah, and the goal being secured there by Flitz. And there were a lot of really good shots on goal, as well as some really good recoveries coming out of Patty there. So I guarantee they were feeling the exact same thing that we were. It felt like a 1v1 duel between those two players, but that's going to continue on into these next games, and hopefully the rest of the players can step up and say, hey, you can't forget about me either.
Yeah, as much as we're hyping up the top players, there were really so many shots in that overtime that were a team effort where it was clearly called out to another person. Not even a second between the passes. It was just bang, bang, quick shot on goal. So they can definitely play as a team, but having individual players who can also pop up, it's the best of both worlds, as they would say. As we head back down to the field, Akron the Zips versus Kennesaw State the Owls.
What's a zip?
I am not sure, but I can tell you from Lubbock Christian University, a chap is a species of roadrunner.
Oh, it's not like chaps that you wear?
Yeah, the chap. No, not chaps. They're a different.
Chaps and spurs.
No, they're actual. If they had a cowboy mascot, maybe, but no, they got a roadrunner mascot. So I get to, play biologist for a few seconds and inform people.
Well, now we need to know what a zip is. I mean, I'm trying to picture that mascot. It's probably something fast.
Yeah,
probably not a zipper.
No. Patty, meanwhile, is going to try to push another shot on goal to start things off. Parson will block it. Flitz takes a shot on goal, saved by Tristan. Both of them elevate up, ball set right up above the Zips goal. Parson looking to play this from the side. Flitz will take it above few players. You got all of Akron in the defensive third right now.
It's so funny when you see three members grouped up and we have this perspective where somebody just zooms in and takes control of the ball. Like, what were you guys doing here? Get your hands out.
Bullseye gets one touch, but it really isn't past anybody. Patty will take it. Bullseye off in the corner, though. No boost for him to steal. Tristan takes it off front post. It's going to go high. Is there a follow-up? No. Flitz will just corral it over to the corner.
Bullseye, you have to get the ball in the goal. It's not you. It's not about the vehicle being in the... He's like, I'm real far back in here, guys. It's not yet a secured goal, but Kennesaw is figuring out how to try to follow up on these plays. It's a slow pop right in front of Tristan. Sometimes those are actually the ones that come out ahead, but not this time. As Tristan says, you guys weren't saying my name nearly enough in the first two games of that series. Now a carry over here by Parson, and it's just stalled up by Patty.
Bullseye and Patty. Patty tries to clear out the goal, but TNT plays around Patty and comes through as a crucial defender for Kennesaw State. Might actually put a goal in himself. And with an assist from Parson, the Owls are back in the lead.
I'm so used to all these, these crazy aerial plays, these passes back and forth. But so far in the last ping, right, that we've seen go, it has just been ground rolls and two defenders attempting to take out that offending player. And hey, you know what? Kennesaw State's going to be the first team to find some success out of that strategy. Still, though, a little under 3.5 minutes on the clock left.
As my dad, a golfer, would say, plenty of worm burners being brought out onto the field. And Parson takes another shot! Another, shall I mention, non-aerial play that turns into a goal.
That's 2 out of 3. 3 shots on goal for Parson, and he's secured, 2 of them. Tristan just barely not able to get there in time. You know what? Both of these teams feel so on par right now, but there are also mistakes being made. It feels like they both are they're dealing with the same handicap at the moment. Like each of them has one eye closed or something like that, and they're all having to deal with this new depth perception that they're experiencing.
TNT moves around the corner, stopped dead in his tracks by Bullseye. Parson takes a shot, pass over to Flitz, plays it around the corner, but Flitz isn't able to get his centering. TNT gets the shot on goal, though. That was a great shot, and it's stopped by Bullseye.
Bullseye has been hitting more Bullseye saves than Bullseye shots, I gotta say. I don't know if there's a word for that. I guess Bullseye is the equivalent. That works.
Parson, meanwhile, keeping the ball from going past midfield. More pressure placed onto the Zips, and Bullseye beats TNT to the ball to push it off to the corner. Now Tristan takes possession with a pass to Patty. Ball, dead set on the goal. Parson gets the save. TNT on the counter attack. Oh, I was thinking he might center it, but not quite yet.
Not yet. Parson, once again on the defensive, has been finding himself available for both the aggressive and the defensive sides of the field. So far, it seems like Kennesaw State has, has decided on a standout player each game. This time, it's Parson's turn, but TNT wants to say something. Flitz finds a bit of a challenge here, has to reorient. Parson comes in for the dive. TNT on the recovery. Flitz with a touch to follow it, but Bullseye finds a save.
Parson comes in with a huge shot up high, tries to be his own follow-up. Stopped by Tristan. Patty stopped by TNT. I mean, a lot of the clears that Akron's been attempting have been blocked, but as soon as I say that, Patty is there back in prime form.
This was a fast play, too. I mean, Bullseye pings this one off of the reset, and it was really whoever was able to get a touch on that ball first. Patty had the recognition, launched himself in the air, and it was a very quick goal, but it's still a one-goal deficit held by Akron.
It's full on boost, overlooking the field. Who's he going to pass to? Patty gets right in his face. And that's going to be a huge opening for Akron, although the ball takes a bad bounce back toward midfield. Patty will keep the side control. Once again, it's up for grabs in mid by either team. Tristan comes in, runs right into Parson. The Zips are pressed back against their own goal. Patty's going to try to change that, but still struggling to find a clear.
Really scary when you have to have two members kind of pinched together on the front post to ensure that the ball gets out of playability for the other team, but it was not something that Kennesaw State was actually able to take advantage of, so they got to reorganize back to their defensive zone on the field. Comes out of the corner over to Tristan. TNT should get there in time as it's a slow play, but that is one thing that Akron is finding right now, at least in the second half of this game, that is in favor of their team, and that is speed.
Tristan elevates, gets one touch, gets the reset off the ceiling, leaves it for Patty. Demos in front of the field. I couldn't even see the ball, and Bullseye tries one last effort to tie this game up, but that could be crucial if this one doesn't go in, and Flitz saves it. They need to get a clear here. There's less than half a minute left, and Kennesaw State looking like they might get their third game.
And that's match point for the series. Akron certainly not expecting that. You see a little bit of a misplay there, but TNT finds some recovery for the team. As the demo comes down and we're in just the last 10 seconds. You can't let it get to your head as Kennesaw State just needs to maintain this goal. And not only are they going to do that, but they're going to secure it as Parson finds more hats on the field.
Now we're going to officially be heading toward match point. Bullseye, the only one back there saved, although the other's a bit too far up on the field to get back for a possible follow-up. Just 3 seconds left. That'll tick after the ball's been scored. Doesn't even find too much of the air. We can see a 50 be brought out there, but it's not too much.
That almost scared me. I mean, granted, it would have had to be another goal for them to actually secure to be able to push that one out into overtime, and there were no seconds on the board, but I've seen some crazy things, and I will say, I think it's, I've used the word unprecedented already. I think the expectation going into this one was that Akron was going to put up a really good fight, and Kennesaw State right now is like, all right, boys, just one more, and we got this series in a sweep. Take out the Bruins.
Pull off the first upset of the bracket and push themselves on into the Final Four. What really stood out to me, though, was Kennesaw State, Akron, was just having so much trouble trying to find a clear. You could see times when Patty would try to set up a clear, and then instantly an owl would just come flying in and deny that.
Ah, the owl's flying in, huh? See, Zips can't do that. I mean, Zips can zip in, so I guess that...
They could.
That works. That works. I guess they have their own strategy here. But I will say, for Akron, the name that really stands out to me that I'm not saying so frequently is Tristan. Tristan's been around for such a long time. He's been on all kinds of teams. He's even subbed in for professional Rocket League teams. And so right now I'm looking at Tristan and I'm wondering, why is it that we're saying Patty's name so much? He's an exceptional player. He's always stand out, but Tristan has not been nearly involved in anything on the field as I'm used to, and I wonder if that's going to change here in game number 4.
Well, it has to change if they want to stay in the match. TNT, fresh on boost, is going to start dribbling it. Patty will stop him in midfield. Parson comes in, gets his own shot. Now the ball's in the Akron's half. It now goes back over toward Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State's going to have their own boost stolen away from them, so they're going to have to be really good on their passes, and Flitz is going to be able to take it all the way to the other side of the field. Patty, though, still making it competitive.
It has also been, if you look at like the numbers for goals that have been secured here by Akron, you're looking at a decrease every single game. Game 1, it was 4-5. Game 2, it was 3-4. Game 3, it was 1-3. And as I say that, Patty says, hey, stop talking down on my team, all right? We're going to secure the first one of this game, and that's actually the first time so far that Akron has been able to do that.
And not only great work by Patty on the dribble, but Bullseye, we've been talking about it. The disruption comes through in flying colors for the Zips. They go up to the early lead about 30 seconds into game 4. And it's almost equalized a few seconds later.
God.
Oh.
Parson just needs to find a touch. Parson was trying a little get a patient on that one. At the same time, TNT says, I should be able to get this one. Now a little bit too concerned to hit the ball so close to the goal. Over, it's a transition mid-air to Bullseye. Parson stops that one out the field. Flitz with an angle. It goes to the corner, though, and Tristan, there he is. I'm saying his name. Finally, Tristan finds a bit of a touch, and that's all I get to say about him.
Patty, now moving back up, back over to Patty. Parson gets one touch on the ball, but it's not enough to stop. There's Tristan. We've been talking about him all this time. He comes in for the second goal for Akron.
That was gorgeous. Watch this. He recognizes that this is going to hit the corner and it's going to go down. So he immediately acknowledges, all right, it's not going to be a bounce off in the other angle. I just get to center myself, and so will the ball.
3 minutes, 46 seconds left. Kennesaw State struggling at match point. Ball's going to fly over toward the Zip side of the field. Patty has a wide open field to work with. Parson comes in off the side, though, messing up Patty's strategy a bit. Bullseye takes a shot toward the goal. It's just a little bit narrow, doesn't quite find the net. It's going to head back over towards Zips.
Oh my gosh, it's a bit of a mosh pit here for Kennesaw State. It feels like they're all trying to progress and maybe even double committing onto some of these plays. Hopefully they figure that one out very quickly, because Tristan and the rest of the Zips are really feeling this game. Still only up by 2, but they have plenty more shots on goal. And we're seeing, actually, one, they are 100% for their shot accuracy, both for Tristan and Patty at the moment.
Patty takes a shot toward the goal. Flitz will be there to save. Bullseye comes in, stops it in midfield, but Parson will keep the drive going for Kennesaw State. Ball way up high in front of the Zips goal, and a follow-up attempted by the Owls, but they don't find it. But how about TNT coming in for another shot off the crossbar? Patty will defuse that, push it back to mid.
Nice play there. It's going to be recovered here by Parson. Up towards midfield by Flitz, who ends up just dropping it right back down to the center. TNT trying to get a little bit of a rebound play here. Nobody to receive that one, so Flitz stalls it out again at center pitch. Flitz around the corner, trying to help out TNT and find some sort of alignment for this play. But my goodness, the defense coming out of Akron this game is exceptional.
Flitz comes in around the corner, back up to midfield, bounces off Bullseye and TNT. TNT will get demoed shortly afterward, and then Patty will get demoed. Both teams trading a little bit of the explosions back and forth. TNT whiffs on that. Could have been an opening for Akron. Meanwhile, Kennesaw State going to recover from it, get the side control back. They need to start putting shots on goal and actually get some goals now, because they are still at Zip.
Oof, still at Zip to the Zips. And,
that's why they're called the Zips. They want their opponent to have.
Yeah, that's why don't we have Zilches? Good setup, though, or good potential for one. TNT finds a demo onto the backside as well, but it's Patty they get out of the wings, and it's Tristan that they have to be worried about, who is on the aggressive on the play, finds the clear, folds it up, is now facing down all 3 members of Kennesaw State, and it's still held in control, at least partially here, now by Akron. It's a shot on goal, and TNT secures.
I was thinking as soon as Flitz hit that, there might be an outside chance for TNT, but he was bunched up with both Bullseye and Tristan. You can see Tristan tries to go for it, but he manages to sneak it in, and now Kennesaw State within striking distance. They're still in this. We got a minute and a quarter left to go.
This is honestly a really good time to be only down by one, right? When you've got just over 60 seconds on the clock, you know that the end of the game is going to be soon. You also know that potential for you to tie things up or take control is in your hands, very easily within grasp. That is not a good situation for Kennesaw State as they are once again forced on the defensive. Tristan playing this one off the ceiling. TNT gets it back into the corner, but still good control currently being held by Akron as it is still the gray side of the field that we are doling our eyes with.
Tristan stops it in mid.
Oh.
Patty takes it, shot on goal, gets it, and I think that is the final nail drilled in as far as game 4 is concerned. We still have to see outside chance.